Hey everybody, how you doing? How's everybody's Wednesday going? Mm-mm-mm. I'm running just a smidge behind, as you may notice. But such is life, huh? Let's go ahead and make that live chat. Obviously. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed today's video. I had fun making that one. It's been an adventure, you know. It has. It's been fun. And then Friday, we're going to be looking at Sal Grover. I don't know how you say her name. I guess I'll find out because I'm going to look deeper into that. Beep beep to you too. Mm, it's backwards, so that's weird. What's up? Beep beep indeed. Yeah, right. My neighbor is being weird. How you doing? Good? Fantastic. Pretty good over here as well. In Oxford having a blast. Ooh. Yeah, pretty good over here. Pretty good over here. Not, I mean, I had a good time making that video. Did you watch it? Did you? Did you? Did you? Part two of Rachel Wilson. Like, that interview was disappointingly lacking in actual discussion of demonic anything. It was mainly implied about how, but like, he did come right out and say that the agenda of feminism is to kill God the Father, which I thought was beautiful. Because as if, right? As if. In a theoretical, metaphysical sense, perhaps, you know, but it's a theoretical sense. Not yet, sorry. I'm in a museum doing the premiere. Okay. Right on. Ooh, my headphones are completely crooked. It's crazy. So, yeah, no, your objection is Christian fundamentalism, which of course I don't share. So, uh, I'm guessing you don't either. I'm guessing you're not a Christian fundamentalist yourself, right? Like she calls it orthodox, but in Christian circles, that's what that means essentially. I don't know. Orthodox Christianity is like Eastern, I guess. It's not Catholic. It's the other one. I'm not an expert, but I do have some experience in the area. You know. No, though I am Christian. Okay. Out of curiosity, do you believe in demons? Serious question. Whatever your answer is, I promise I won't make fun of you. I'm not going to say I won't laugh, though, because I do find some of that stuff just very silly. It's not you, though. Absolutely not. Okay. Okay. I had to ask. I come from an outsider perspective, just to refresh. My dad is a Wiccan priest, and my mom, well, was an atheist for a long time. Apparently, she is no longer. I mean, I was never given like an official update on that, but I was saying the other day that she's dating a Gideon who is they are famously Christian. You know, he left a couple. He did his thing. He did when they came to visit. He left a couple of new copies of the New Testament for the boys. Not the girls. Apparently they don't need it, but um so yeah, growing up, my mom was an atheist, my dad was a Wiccan priest. So I was not exactly raised in the church, is what I'm getting at. So I'm coming at all of this from an outsider's perspective. Mind you, I've known many Christians, uh, both personally and casually and professionally and whatnot. It is like common. So I don't feel that I don't. It's not like I don't have any experience to speak from. You know what I mean? Like, and I do go to church regularly, not because I, you know, want to pursue my personal relationship with Jesus, though. That's just not my motivation. People do things for many different reasons. And my hair just looks like a helmet. I don't know what to do. I suppose I could put my hat back on. What is your motivation then if you feel comfortable saying? I do. I don't mind saying it all. It is because we live in a small town and we were trying to join the community somehow. And it worked. Our son goes to their school now because it's a good school. And the public one that's nearby us, the public elementary school nearby us, is not so great. So we picked the one all the Democrats go to. It's socialization, social motivations. Yeah, and that was it. And I don't know if we're going to keep going to that church forever at this point. Like I say, he goes to their school, and it's a good sort of coherency. Is that the right word? Where is there ever? Where is the ever so friendly and not at all dogmatic Amanda? She subbed to me, and I don't have any content. Very strange. I'm sorry, she's harassing you. She made an appearance on Mondays. If you want to go back and watch that, and I pretty much touched on everything I want to say about that. You know, and she recommended the video that I've spent the last couple of days, the last few days responding to, and you know, like I say, on Friday we're going to be talking about Saul Grover, and we're chugging right along. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, she tagged us all in another video. I think I saw that one. I think. Is that the one about the? Okay. Was that the one about the just briefly? Was that the one about the live stream on Monday that she attended? I thought that was odd. Apparently. There's a heart in the way. Don't know why. No, and my friend the web developer had theories on that, which I'm actually not going to share here because, like I say, I just want to keep this brief. Suffice to say, we're going to keep chugging along. You know, it was actually very. I'm not going to say I'm never going to return to the anti-feminism though, because first of all, I would be interested to find some of them who do not have a religious basis for their objections. I'm not sure I will, but if I do, I'm definitely going to touch on that, whatever the hell that is. And secondly, this has been very like galvanizing to kind of position myself against these people and define my position against what they're saying. And it's also been pretty cathartic to get to really say some of these things. So it's been fun. Like Lauren Southern, maybe? Does Lauren Southern still believe in complementarianism? Like she deconverted or whatever, right? I have been interested in covering her, but you know, it feels like a gimme. It feels so obvious. Like, yep, her experience backs up my estimation of things pretty precisely. Therefore, I have little to add other than, ha, told you so, which does not make great commentary. I suspect she's probably still anti-feminist. Hmm. Okay. Is that just a general suspicion, or do you have something to base that on? Mm. My coffee's gone really early today. Woohoo! It's gonna be a tough one. Just assumption. Okay. I mean, obviously, she's piqued my interest. If she ever does anything that makes me say, "Hey, wait a minute," now then I'll be on top of that. And that was the thing about this one that made me that really did make this. Like I say, I watched several things along these lines last week, looking for the right one, and that was why this one caught my attention, was because of that sort of grand narrative where they she positions herself as the rational one who's just trying to make a case. I was hoping to pop into a classic Oxford coffee shop to subit to, but they closed at the same time as the museum, so I missed the nostalgia brew. Oh, I'm sorry. And then you're moving to Ireland, right? Are you leaving soon? You are, aren't you? It's not difficult to go back and forth, though, is it? This is probably not your last time in Oxford. Yeah, I'm chilling here with my brother in Oxford for the last week while I finish my thesis. Right on. Right on. Sounds nice. Hmm. And I'm free and off to Ireland. Oh, that sounds exciting. Congrats. Hmm. Oh, speaking of developments, um, so the whole 3 videos a week thing was in response to certain developments in my personal life, which have since uh been resolved. So I'm not a fan of the Stephen Crowder-esque. Why are you afraid? It makes clear the intent is to ridicule, not argue in good faith. Yeah, 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 for sure. I did see the bit about emotional support feminists. That's funny. Why in the heck do y'all think I do recorded videos and not like hours and hours of just live shit all the time? Because I'm not necessarily off the cuff like that. I really appreciate you guys helping me articulate that stuff. Oh, heck yeah. I'm so relieved you no longer have that pressure. Yeah, thank you, right? I can't wait to come on here next week and let you guys know I've submitted. Yeah, that's going to be cool. That's going to be great. Um, yeah, so we're going to be going back to one video a week. Um, but I've had to admit to myself I can be more productive than I had been. This has been very interesting and educational as an experiment. It didn't quite have the effect I might have hoped for, but so I'm going to change my approach that way. One video a week. I'm actually going to do the fucking shorts. Here's a crazy thought. At this point, taking a whole week on a video feels luxurious. So the only real issue is that I have exhausted most of my ideas for like 6 months. So, that's going to be interesting. And now you can work on your novel a little also. Right. Well, and the thing about the book is, and I said this the other day too, like, I actually did get some work done on it the other day. I pulled out the scene I started a month ago and finished it. And it even, kind of blossomed into a couple little more things that were connected to it. And I got all that typed up because, like, it's still going and, like, it's still churning away in here. Like, I don't know that I could actually just put that down and walk away from it without, like, legitimately serious mental and emotional consequences. uh, and I certainly didn't decide a year and a half, whatever it was, in the middle of all of this. Hey, you know what? This would be a great time to write a novel. I did not say that. Like, that's not what's happening here. I didn't choose this. Yeah. But yeah, I hope to get somewhat back on track with that. I don't know about getting the first installment done by the end of the year now. I'm going to try, you know. But, like, I'm not even, that's, like, so secondary. I'm just like, oh my goodness, yes. Not only will I get to work on the novel, I'm going to get to finish a load of laundry. Fold it and put it away. It's been a time. And it's given me a lot of perspective on various things. Not least of which is my own production capacity, because I feel like the editing in this last one was a bit rough. And maybe if you look really hard, you can see behind my eyes that I'm tired. You know, I feel like it's starting to get to me. But it's not that I can't do it. So, might be time to just you know continue working at it. This to a similar degree. Just work smarter, not harder. You know what I mean? And see what that does. Obviously, brute forcing it's not the way, right? You live and learn, right? I feel the same way about my dissertation, all the tiredness growing out. Right? It's not that you can't do it; it's that you can't do it forever. And but what I'm saying is, I don't know that the overall quality of the videos has tanked the way I was afraid it might. Correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, I still think they're fairly decent. You know. 100%. I'm really glad it's going to be over after this week. Yeah, right. It's hopeful. And I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to say about Saul Grover and that whole situation. And I'm not sure that I'm going to say anything hasn't been said 100 times over by other people. But that's what I promised you guys the other day. And it seems a good thing to weigh in on. Ugh, so ridiculous. I mean, that's the thing, is I am going to have to make some notes for that one, because otherwise I'm just going to sit there and yell at the camera the whole time. Like, this is so ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. You can't just. It reminds me, maybe this is too obscure a reference. I don't know. Citizens United in the United States, where the courts decided that corporations were people. And then everybody kind of started acting like that, as if that makes it true. That's not how that works. It wasn't then, and it isn't now. And you can't just declare something in law and behave as if that changes material facts. Oh yeah, that case was mental. The Citizens United? Yeah, yeah. It still is, fun fact. It had the effect of changing our campaign funding laws. Because, once upon a time, as a corporate entity, you could not fund a political candidate. But if corporations are people, then people have free speech. It's bonkers. And to my understanding, is largely responsible for a lot of the mess we find ourselves in at the moment. At least directly. Excuse me. Obviously, it doesn't exist in a vacuum. That shit didn't happen out of nowhere. But on its face, that's what the Saul Grover case reminds me of. Only, a lot more obvious and a lot more close to home, ironically, even though it's on the other side of the world. I have the cover art for your book covered. Oh, nice. I've spent the summer taking pictures of myself bare-chested in ancient castles and pole vaulting near defensive moats. Groundbreakingly erotic. Wait, is that true, though? Whether it's erotic or not. Is that true? Not all castles have moats. Um, no. Damn. I was starting to think, after I asked it, I was starting to think maybe it didn't quite make sense. I don't know. I don't know. No, I had to just sort of become an expert in mainly that one castle. It does not have a moat. So it does have fortified walls, though. Sorry to disappoint. It's okay. I forgive you. It's been a depressing news week for women. Oh my god. This may shock you guys. I've not had time to closely follow the news lately. Did I miss something? Besides the tickle giggle thing? That's um was there something else? I gotta actually run in the house real quick. I'll be right back. Soccer games full of dudes. Oh, great. Ugh. And then we're expected to believe that this isn't about domination. When it really is trans women. How is that not what that looks like? Oh my god. Which, like, sorry to say that. I don't mean to touch on a touchy subject, something that not everybody agrees upon. But like literal, actual self proclaimed trans women in women's sports. Hey, wait a minute. That's fun. Do y'all see that? Even having to clarify that. What up, Claire? How you doing? So now I'm having to clarify though that I'm talking about actual trans women in women's sports, or I feel that I do anyway. Because that is like the one point of agreement that everybody has, right? Is that, maybe trans women, men shouldn't be in women's sports. Even most reasonable, trans uh supporting trans affirming people agree with that. And now thanks to Amani Khalif, it's difficult to have that conversation too. God damn, this shit is aggravating. And I'm not the kind of conspiracy theorist to sit here and say that they like planted her or some shit like that, or paid off her opponent or whatever. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say anybody did that. But spin, right? And I saw somebody else saying this, like, what? Who decides what gets covered by the mainstream news? And how and the way that it's covered. Are you talking about the trans women on the football team that wins a lot? Wonder why? Yeah, yeah. And after the Imani Khalif thing, it is more difficult to talk about trans women in women's sports, about men in women's sports. That incident has been blown up, I think, possibly because it muddies the waters there, because even most people who support trans rights agree that maybe men shouldn't be trans women, shouldn't be in women's sports. And now that conversation is more difficult to have. Because the way, the Overton window, the collective awareness, whatever it is you want to call it on it, is, jerked around by media coverage. Hooray. Ironically, it makes me want one of these things. I'm starting to see them as like a symbol of the enemy. So, yeah, I'm probably not going to continue smoking a whole lot longer. But like I said, we just came through a harrowing period, so today's not the day, unfortunately. An undefeated season, won the championship. 5 dudes on the team. Forgive me, how many people are on a soccer team? Not that it really matters. I'm just curious more than anything. 5 out of 10, 12. What is it? I don't know. But yeah, no, that's disgusting. How is that not obviously about domination? 11. Okay. I knew it was something like that. 10, 12. I was close. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, God. People who follow gender ideology using with DSD as a distraction shield has become so common. It's really not the gotcha they think it is. Oh, yeah. Smoke-free spray, herbs, etc. Doesn't that just get out the smell? Using people with um, disorders of sexual development, differences of sexual development. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not like it's a great gotcha, but they've managed to spin it now to the point where there's, it's blown up to the point where, we have a lawsuit now. So this is just going to go on and on. Screen froze at the best time. Which time was that? Crap. Ugh. Spray in mouth for cravings. Really? Huh. Is it like a nicotine spray? I quit once before with the patches. For right now, I'm just smoking less, you know. Do you know how the lawsuit will work? How Imani is trying to sue JK and others does, but don't understand what will be happening. Like Imani doesn't understand because I believe that Imani is a boxer. Not to say anything about against boxers, but they're not lawyers. Natural herbs, but very effective. Okay, right on. Natural herbs is probably better anyway. I will keep an eye out for that. It's worth a try. I thought it wasn't a suit or something that could be easily overturned. Again, I haven't. I need to look further into that. I haven't had the time to follow things, even as much as I normally would. You know, no, I don't understand. No, I don't know. Understand, but yeah, maybe Imani too. Okay, sorry, my typing isn't the best. I'm without glasses at the moment. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Do you just not have them, or do you need to get them? Ooh, that can be rough. Do I know how the lawsuit will work? No, but I have enough basic understanding of law that I have some hope of parsing it. Once I take a look at it, I just have to do it. And if they have a decent case against JK, etc., then that's not great, right? No, they broke drunk friends. Oh. Whoopsie. Mm. Didn't mean to erase it, haha. Oh. uh. But so, I mean, here's a crazy idea. I don't have to always necessarily offer groundbreaking, like, you know, I could just weigh in on stuff like that. If only because then it would give us all a solid reason to talk about it. Like, educate myself on it, and then thereby, inform you guys. What do you think? That's pretty much what the Saul Grover thing is going to amount to, I think. Is just kind of get all those facts together and see what it looks like. I guess what I'm confused about is what is JK being accused of and who is the burden of proof on? The burden of proof is always on the accuser. You have to, I mean, unless international law works drastically different than American law, United States law, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Um, no, if you're accusing of somebody, then you are supposed to prove that they did that. First of all, because you're the one who brought it up. Secondly, because it's pretty much impossible to prove you didn't do something. Unless you have an alibi, which, you can prove you were doing something else. But that still isn't, you can't prove a negative. You see what I'm saying? And what exactly the prosecution would be trying to prove there, I guess, would be something along the lines of, well, defamation. That's the word I've seen used, which is something like you have spread, lies about somebody to the point that it has hurt them in their life. It's cost them money. It's cost them mental anguish, and whatever. I'm sure there's a more concise definition of that out there somewhere, but that's the gist of it. As far as I understand, I am not a lawyer, but my dad is. Not that gives me any bona fides whatsoever, but I have at least a basic working understanding of this kind of thing. So it's not to say that I'm never surprised by outcomes to cases. That would be silly. Oh, okay, that clears things up a bit. I'm curious how things will go. Yeah, same. I just like, but so assuming that it's decently possible that they might have a pretty good case for that. You know, I don't know that she would go to prison or anything silly like that. I don't know that she'd go to prison for defamation. I'm pretty sure that's a civil thing that the whatever judgment would be for, a monetary amount in lieu of returning to her sanity and or friendships or whatever it was, job opportunities, whatever it was, the claim that she lost because of this person's actions. Okay. So basically, J.K. Rowling would have to pay Monica Leaf a bunch of money, which J.K. Rowling could probably afford. However, the optics are bad, right? Like, that whole narrative of, the frenzied radical feminists that are actually hurting other women. I mean, well, they might try to ask a lot of money since JK is very rich. Oh, yeah. I mean, and there's always that narrative of, you're just going after her in this because I hear a lot of the prominent online turfs have been keeping real quiet since Khalif announced the suit. Well, I mean, of course they are, because they're worried about becoming involved in it. I'm not, because I never said any of that. I have a wait and see approach to a lot of these things, as I've said. Because first of all, I don't consider my opinion to be the end all be all. It's not like, oh, I have to say, I have to tell people, I have to let the world know what I think right now. Like, no, not so much. You know, I must weigh in so the world can know the truth. Like, what? No, 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 no. And I'm not on Twitter. I'm not wrapped up in a lot of that discourse anymore. So I do think that there is a certain amount of framing that I lack, you know, for that in that way. And I just, also kind of looked at it and went, oh man, another man in women's sports. That sucks. What's today? Thursday? Like, really? I didn't. Yeah, to be honest, it was an unforced error and I have little sympathy for them. Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And I think a lot of people are going to feel that way. And the whole thing is a massive fucking distraction from the fact that there are men in women's sports. And that's what I'm saying. And they are leaping on her because she's wrong this time. So they can get her get her out of the ring. What does that mean? I'm sorry, which thing? Unforced error. Oh. I believe that's a sports term, isn't it? It means like nobody bumped into you and made you drop the ball. You just dropped the ball. You just fumbled. And how was there a known rapist competing in volleyball, but that got little airtime? That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yeah. Why in the fuck are we all talking about J.K. Rowling's mistake and not any of that? What an amazing distraction this whole Imani Khalif thing has turned out to be, huh? So they can discredit J.K. Rowling and all her objections and get her to fuck off the stage, right? Hooray, hooray, hooray. So what was her mistake? An understandable one in my opinion. To presume that Imani Khalif was a trans woman. Because there's so goddamn many trans women in women's sports. Nobody would be worried about it if that wasn't already going on. And all the times that she and people like her have been right about that and raised justifiable concerns about that has not made anywhere near as many headlines as this one time. They've been waiting for her to slip up so they could jump on her and try to take her. Right, yeah. Oh, is that all? Yeah. Yeah. But like Claire says, they've been waiting for an opportunity like this. Yeah. To find something they could spin to discredit her. Yeah. Which sounds incredibly like paranoid, but what about all the times that she's been right? What about all that? And I'm also not sitting here like distancing myself from J.K. Rowling. I never especially glommed on to J.K. Rowling. I admire the fact that she's a public figure who's bothered to stand up for women's rights. That's really nice. The opportunity is to lock down the whole internet. What? I feel like if the rhetoric against trans women in women's sports didn't usually come with a whole lot of bigotry, the backlash turfs are getting would not be as severe. Like, they didn't just say Khalif was male and therefore shouldn't be competing against women. Right. No, and the precedent. Hmm. As a ripple effect, it could be. Might be. They called Khalif a misogynist, an abuser, mocked her physical appearance. That Hungarian boxer retweeted post depicting Khalif as a literal minotaur. Oh, God. Which is why I don't do Twitter. That's actually why I don't do Twitter, is because I think that, like, that kind of shit is really boring and childish. Not to be snobby or anything. Like I say, I don't have my guilty pleasures that I think are funny, but like that's not for the pub. Like that's my person, for my own silly enjoyment. Like that's not what I don't understand. Society loves to frame women as being paranoid for noticing dangers and problems and try to gaslight us enough to question ourselves. Yeah, and we're watching it in real time. Okay. The grain of sympathy I do have for the turfs is I think a lot of them were traumatized by male abusers and saw that and got triggered, for lack of a better. Yeah. Yeah. Right. It's the framing. Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that a lot of them were probably aware of the dynamics of this fight before it happened. They were probably aware of a lot of these people, not all of them, but a lot of them were probably aware of Imani Khalif as an individual and had preconceived ideas about her before this happened. And then, yeah, to watch a person you conceive of as a man. How are we today? What up, kitty cat? Pretty good, pretty good. We're having a fun. We're not talking about feminist spirituality at all. We're talking about men and women's boxing, or not, as the case may be. How are you doing? A dude beat up a woman for gold in front of the whole world. What up, Caleb? How you doing? Tired but good. You're always tired, aren't you? Glad you're good though. Glad you're good. And that must be awful. I don't want to be super harsh on them for overreacting a bit because they've been traumatized. Right. What up, Mecca? Hey, everybody's here today. Um, Plumbers always are. Ah, gotcha. Are you on call like surgeons? I wouldn't doubt it. In the trans versus turf discussion group I'm part of, myself and some other people have had a knee jerk of that's a trans woman in women's sports and it's wrong. But that dissipated once we found out she wasn't. And the other people are having trouble letting go of it. But it raised a question I genuinely don't know the answer to. Ooh, what's that? He isn't trans. Who? He's still a man, even if he isn't bothering to pretend to be a woman. Imani Khalif. See, I was loath to argue about it before, and I'm definitely loath to argue about it now. He's legit a dude in women's boxing. And the thing is, it's not even like this one case does not, this is not the hill I want to die on, okay? This one battle will not win us the war, okay? Because there are plenty of other men in women's sports. That is definitely happening. It's fine for non-combat sports, but if someone has Michael Phelps level genetic advantages, even against other members of their sex, should they be allowed to compete? Uh, like I say, I'm of the mind that you should just stay to your sex category. um, Especially if you have Michael Phelps level genetic advantages against the members of your own sex. What are you even doing? Algeria, it would be illegal to change sex in law. Right. In a combat sports situation, even if we acknowledge the Phelps level genetic inequalities are acceptable in sports, that still puts people in danger, right? Yes. Women mainly. Because even a woman with Michael Phelps level advantages over other women would just be able to hold her own, I think, against most other men. Most men. The thing is, it's a gaslighting campaign around that person because they didn't go through a transition. They just had a sexual development issue, which didn't prevent male puberty. I think that it is a gaslighting campaign, which was the reason I was loath to comment on it in the first place, because I don't want to add fuel to that fire, I think that as long as someone has gone through male puberty, there is more often than not, there is going to be an advantage. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm with Kitty on this. We find a unicorn in this situation, and the pro-trans people have forgot about intersex, and now we're saying no penis equals woman, when that wasn't their position before. Wasn't it, though? I mean, I guess. I don't know. For what? It was man and non-man there for a minute. I don't know. Who can parse that shit? Like, expand on that if you don't mind. I gotta go back in the house again. Hang on. Oh my god, the non-man thing, right? But he knew he was male. Once he was disqualified from sports after genetic testing showed he had Y chromosome. See, I've heard that. I've heard that, and then I've heard that that's not established, and I really don't even know where to look for a reliable. I mean, no offense. Not to say that you're not a reliable source. I can't cite you. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, the non-man thing. The TRA position is always shifting. Right. It's not about genitals when Dylan wants to talk about normalizing the bulge in ladies, but suddenly it is, so someone wants to say getting the snip made them female. Talk about an unforced error. Non-man, yeah. I think big plans means a castrated male still doesn't make him a woman. No, agreed. If non-man doesn't scream internalized misogyny, I'm not sure what. Yeah. Yeah, it's that hatred of femaleness. I mean, I almost don't even want to say womanhood. Just the underlying physical manifestation behind it. It's so obvious to me sometimes. Imani Khalif had more than one organization state clearly they found him to be an XY male. Literally 2 different international boxing organizations made public statements of having disqualified Khalif over XY chromosomes and other details they're not allowed to divulge for privacy reasons. It's true. Can't remember the name of the sporting body off the top of my head, but it's true. Okay. And see, there is the one that I know disqualified that person. And then the accusation's been made that it's basically an arm of the Kremlin, which sounds like 1960s propaganda. But on the other hand, I'm literally at this place where I don't know. I don't know what to believe there. I don't know. It was the IBA. Yeah, right. The stupidest iteration of it is when some folks say lesbian means a non-man attracted to non-men. The Russians strike again. Right. But so is it actually the Russians, or is it just people talking about the Russians? I can't know that. I don't feel like I have any reliable way of finding that out. Are they a reliable organization or not? I don't know. And I have no one I can ask who would have personal, I don't know. I've almost never seen gay defined as non-woman attracted to non-woman women. I have seen that. It's been a little while, but I have seen that. Are you suggesting the Russian government can't manage the sex test for sports? Russophobia out of control at this point. No, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying. No, no. I'm saying I don't trust them as far as I could throw them. So that if they were the ones who had performed the test, it would be, you know, I don't want to take their word for anything. But on the other hand, on that point, the fact that I don't want to take the Russian government's word for anything, you could use that against me and just be like, oh yeah, well, it was the Russians who said that. Like, and I recognize that. Okay. So I have to admit that I'm beyond my ken here. I do not know. There are certain things I just cannot know for sure. Okay, then must be those Russians again. Yeah, right. I don't know. One sports organization that tested this person and disqualified him and spoke on it is Russian. Okay. Which, on its face, I can't. There's nothing wrong with being Russian. Okay. What makes that government less trustworthy than any other government? Nothing. Nothing. That's what I'm saying. I do not trust the people who are accusing them either. That's what I'm saying. I do not know who or what to believe. The Olympics Committee stated that they go by what sex the person's passport has enlisted as, which is fucking stupid. Admittedly. That's dumb. No, I don't really believe necessarily anyone in that situation. So, right, Max, sus. Yeah. It wasn't the Russian government. The head of the IBA was Russian, but it was an international organization. Okay. Okay. And their involvement in other organizations around the world has never, ever been involved in their government's doings. That's never happened. See, I don't. Yeah, that is stupid. My passport says female. Nice. 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 So I am asked to trust a sports organization that goes by passport or one that has genetic testing they're willing to publicly comment on. I'll go with the latter. See, and I'm not feeling like I don't feel like I'm asked to do. I don't feel like I have to because this one case is sort of a red herring. There are plenty of other men and women's sports that we know they're irrefutably, undeniably men in women's sports. Plenty of them. So I just don't feel the need to argue, to pinpoint the perfect this is not, I don't think it's a red herring. It's literally the highest level of sports. Yes. And we're getting bogged down over the details of an individual when the pattern is what is important. Right? The pattern of men infiltrating women's spaces is the point. I feel you about not knowing who to trust on this issue. Thank you. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know something when I cannot. Other people can feel that they are certain about it. That's fine. And in this case, we're being asked to not just pretend we don't know what the consequences of male puberty when we're looking at a person who has gone through it. We're also asked to ignore the tests. Not just one organization, but two international sports organizations said this. It's a diversion tactic to point out the one with the connection to the right. It is, yeah, no, and I see that. I admit that, yeah. A reason to ignore the obvious. Personally, I don't even know what a particular intersex evaluation would mean. Oh, I'm sure that there is. I don't know exactly what that would look like either, but People with intersex conditions are still either male or female. Yeah, yeah. Like, let's say hypothetically, Khalifa shouldn't have XX chromosomes, but just some kind of disorder of sexual development because her unusually high testosterone. Right. That is a. But there's a myriad of possibilities for differences in sexual development. There are several different variations there, but like, I mean, Mecca, you have your reasons for feeling the way you do, believing what you do, and that's fine. I'm not going to challenge you. It's an idea that should be left with the Victorians that humans can be a hermaphrodite. Yeah. No human has ever produced both eggs and sperm, not one. There has never been a human with functional male and female anatomy. Right, right. And I don't know if it's true of all of them, but I know a lot of people with differences in sexual development are not fertile. They cannot have children. So, with the recent ruling in Australia saying essentially gender identity trumps sex, I think women who want female exclusive places should try labeling the space as cis women only and see how that goes. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, that's a thought. I wonder if that wouldn't just, like, if you can identify as female, why can't you identify as cis female? I've definitely heard some of them say that they are a woman and they always were, right? No, no, just withdrawing further away and putting up more fences, like, that doesn't help anything. It's important for your free speech, Americans. Yeah, no, it is. Oh wait, speaking of Russian disinformation, Omali Yeshitela's trial is coming up on September 3rd. Y'all should go support the Hands Off Uhuru movement. If you don't have a clue what it is, Google it. Oh, it's important for your free speech. Okay. I've seen woke scolds get mad over housing units designated as assigned female at birth only, so that probably still wouldn't work. Yeah, no. The Khalif has an intersex condition, so their male IDing as female but not trans is absurd. It only tracks if your definition of trans is about plastic surgery. Hmm. And my point about it is I think it's going to change the landscape of the conversation in a way that's detrimental to discussing these things. Yeah, the goalpost does keep moving. It's hard to know what to even do. Yeah. If the definition is a person who identifies socially as a different sex than their actual sex, there is no intervention, qualifies or disqualifies someone. Then no intervention or, yeah. Yeah, and those would be, I guess, the two conflicting points of view, right? From my understanding, there's photos of Khalees's childhood showing her dressed in girls' clothes, etc. Right. I suppose that doesn't mean that you couldn't learn at, I don't know, let's say 20, that you are in fact genetically male. And I have to admit that I hadn't thought of that. What a thing to learn. Unless we're to believe that somehow in a country where transition is illegal, Khalifa's transitioned as a child, we have to accept she was probably raised with female socialization. Right. But that doesn't mean that the strength isn't there. Right. No, I mean, I see it. I don't feel like I need to develop a strong opinion. I don't. Unless we're to believe the condition there documented with. Is that what that means? Excuse me. Mm. 5ARD causes one to have ambiguous genitalia at birth, but it becomes obvious they are male at puberty. Huh. Some individuals, especially in third world countries without standard blood tests and things, are incorrectly assumed female with that condition and raised as females. Are intersex people? Oh, Joey from Friends. Really into sex or asexual. Yet another thing I've never seen. uh, I feel like I sound so sheltered, but I didn't watch Friends because I didn't like it. So, come at me, I guess. What up, Kelly? How you doing? The fact that a person has a condition that could cause them to have their sex incorrectly determined as a small child doesn't change what sex they actually show themselves to be. How late am I? About an hour. Right. No, Mecca, I don't disagree with you. And if such a thing should prove to be true, or has been proven true, like, what does that do to the lawsuit? Because if the whole XY chromosome thing is true, like, Imani's lawyers are going to want to know that. It's minorly relevant. Oh, darn, talking about DSD. It looks, yeah. Not because I wanted to. You know how these things go. I figured we might talk about feminist spirituality because, well, that was what the video was about. But yeah, Imani, yeah. I've never seen The Office. All I know is about the memes. Yeah, same, right? Like, not everybody's seen everything. The lawsuit is not going anywhere. There's a reason it's a harassment and not defamation or libel. Oh, I see. Defamation is the word that I had seen thrown around. Like I say, I've not had a chance to seriously look into this because it's been a heck of a month. But this is the last week of 3 videos a week. Next week, I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna try making more shorts and see what that does. I think it'd be more livable anyway. Khalif is not suing anyone for claiming he's male for the same reason. He didn't appeal the determination that he's male. Huh. See, now I'm just looking forward. I'm just looking forward to looking into this. Even if France prosecuted in absentia, they can't arrest people in America and England. That's true. It's the French government? Really? There's also a reason the Algerian government to carry on this con sued to have the details of these cases not made public. Yes, it's the French government. Wow. Okay. What with the people they're charging and all, I thought this was some kind of an international organization. The French government does have a history of getting too big for its britches. I don't know. Maybe he had broken English and went to register as male. He said, man. And then took that for his first name. Again, no, I mean, no, I don't know. That I will give you my honest opinion about. I think Imani is a lovely name. If Khalif sues for defamation because it's a false statement that he's male, then he'd have to reveal the actual results of the sex test, which he's proven incredibly resistant to doing. I do wonder what the standard for female is in France. Look at Australia and the Google verdict. That's a good point. France does tend to be more conservative than Australia. I'm not sure that's saying a whole lot. But that would be my basic observation there. Truth is an absolute protection from libel. Yeah, and defamation. Okay, so the only way to defend yourself, is to force him to reveal radical. Yeah, that's what I was saying. as far as the defamation lawsuit, that XY chromosome thing being true, his lawyers, his lawyers would want to know about that, right? I thought the burden of proof would be on JK to prove that Imani isn't female, because she's the one making the claim. No, the claim in the lawsuit is that her actions were damaging. That's the claim. The claimant is the prosecution, and the defendant, the plaintiff, is the prosecution, and the defendant is the defense. I don't know why they have two different names for the other one. They have a new liberal government now in France. Oh, well, okay. She didn't make the claim, the IBA did. Okay, the burden of proof is on her, but discovery is a thing. She would be able to request relevant medical information. We're lawyers. It was a defamation claim. Yeah. No, I know. That would get out. That's what I was saying. I was alluding to that earlier. Is it if this proves to be true, it will be very interesting. And I'm just kind of kicking back and waiting again on this, because one way or another, the lawsuit pretty much guarantees that we're all going to know this sooner or later. For sure. You know what I mean? Like, you claim someone is lying about your medical status to defend against your lawsuit, they would be able to request your, yeah. Right. Exactly what I'm saying. The medical records are extremely relevant, and the lawyers are going to want to see that. I think the burden of proof is on Imani because yeah. Yes. The prosecution is the plaintiff. Yes. That's what I'm saying. And the defense is the defense. The injured party is the prosecution. Okay. And they're the ones who have to say, you did this to me. This came up in the Cardi B defamation case. She sued a vlogger for saying she had herpes, and part of that entailed proving medical evidence they lied. So she had to prove she didn't have herpes. See, that's the kind of negative that's possible to prove. That would be an exception to that thing I said earlier where you can't prove a negative. I mean, claim you didn't, prove you didn't see something, prove you didn't do something. The only way to prove you didn't do something is by proving you did something else or having an alibi, right? But you can prove you don't have herpes. Talking about spirituality, I bought more crystals. Oh, what are they now? What was it? Where are they? I mean, sounds like a splurge. I'm sure they're beautiful. Yes, she didn't have herpes. Right. Because the burden of proof is on her that they were lying, and that was why it hurt her. Right. Right. Doesn't everyone have some form of herpes? Well, okay. Who was it? Who was what? Sorry. Who was it that accused Cardi B of having herpes? I'm talking like cold sores. Right, yeah. I don't think that's what he was saying, right? You're going to get sued for defamation. I'm pretty sure it's not what he's talking about. Monty going with a harassment lawsuit is a dodge against having to prove they're female. It helps with silencing people pointing at the obvious, in my opinion. Okay. Like I say, I'm looking forward to looking into this even more now. Because defamation is the word that I had seen thrown around. And you're right. If that's not what that is, that changes the whole game, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, they say the devil's in the details, and the devil's often portrayed as a lawyer, so there you go. I'm sorry. I have that shit on my mind. I spent 4 days. No. And last week, too, with Tammy Peterson. These. Oh, gosh. Orthodox Christian goofballs. Moss agate. The Howard, nice, with an open druzy portal on top and a garden quartz sphere. Ooh. See, I knew it was going to be something gorgeous. All I know is apparently in Islam, women aren't supposed to touch men, and Imani sure did. I know that. And this I actually have firsthand from a friend of mine who spent 3 years in Kazakhstan. I also know that Islamic culture varies from place to place. Legalism in fantasy settings is the most fun for me. Girl, I believe you. I would roll my eyes and probably put that book down. I would be like, I did not. This is what true crime is for. I did not pick up a fantasy book to talk about, to debate law. Like, what the fuck? Is that even what you're talking about? Is that, am I misunderstanding you? The legalism in fantasy settings. I don't know. That's got to be what that is, right? The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind because he was way behind, so he was willing to make a deal. Did you just have a stroke? Are you channeling Charlie Daniels? What's going on? Full support, beautiful sister. Hey, what up, Talk? Like, subscribe, done. Thank you. The coach has carried her. Haven't seen you around. Yeah. It was about a deal with details. Oh. So, a mental musical cue. Yeah, I get those too. Thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Oh, which one was it? What was it that which video was it that attracted your attention? Rod Mom way? Technically, it's a sin to make a deal with the devil, but I'll tell you once he's gonna since ever been. uh, I don't know. I feel like actually, thank you for giving me the opportunity to express this opinion that I've held for a very long time and is not relevant to anything. He cheated. The devil fucking cheated. Because like a little solo amongst a whole band. Are you fucking kidding me? Not that it's not like the devil to cheat or anything, but like the lyrics don't draw attention to that at all. And as if and then after cheating, the devil goes, "Oh, you are better than me. Here you go." It's like, what the fuck? That's the problem with that kind of with that contest is like he's his own judge, and then he judges himself the loser after cheating. I'm sorry, it's gobbledygook. I don't know. Imani Khalif's coach carried them on their shoulders while he was wearing shorts. Oh my god. He still lost. Oh my god. Details. Rad Mom. There was no specification that he had to do a solo. I know. I'm not saying it's not like the devil to cheat. But the lyrics don't mention it. And then he just decides he lost because that's what he's supposed to do for the story. It's just so lame. Not that I'm like, oh, the devil lost. Boo. It's just bad writing. Because, of course, the devil has to lose. He is bad guy. So, obviously. Anyone see the Futurama where Leela hits the devil in the head with the golden fiddle? Hell yeah, I have. And then he squeals like a little girl. Or something. No, that's the deal with legalism. You're misunderstanding the character of the devil in folklore like this. He bends rules, not breaks them. No. I do understand that. I'm not saying he's out of character there. I'm saying the lyrics ought to, I don't know, mention it. Exactly. There's no way he was raised as a girl and ended up with that demeanor. That would sound like that's an opinion though, right? Allegedly. Greengrass top notch episode that. Yeah, it was. It's breaking the rules to declare himself the winner if he did a worse performance. I mean, I guess. It's like I say, it's bending the character's actions for the plot of the story. It's bad writing. It's banning them to give himself an advantage based on a lack of specification of how they can go about it. Right. So I'm saying, like, the characterization is uneven, I guess is my point. Okay, sister, enjoy that. Enjoy here. What? Are you out, man? That's cool. Have a good one. It's bending. Yeah. Mm. Ah, thanks for stopping by. It's always nice. This is so much fun. I am going to miss doing these, you know, quite so often, but your English is so bad. That's okay. English is a difficult language, even for native speakers. I saw that bug. Yeah, right. I had to listen to mom's country music, and I thought the devil's music was way better than the fiddle. You know, I love me some good fiddle music. I can't lie. Some really good bluegrass. Yeah, it's good shit. What the fuck it has to do with the devil? I don't understand. The characterization is not uneven. The idea of this kind of devil is that he genuinely enjoys trying to win according to the rules. It's not a win at all costs goal. I guess. I guess. Speaking of points I don't feel like arguing about, I just wanted to express that opinion because I've held it for 30 years and it has never ever been relevant to anything. So thanks for bringing it up. I'm just an opinionated person, you know what I mean? You don't have to agree with me. It's cool. I used to play fiddle as a teen. Want to get back into it someday. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Kind of drifted away from it, got busy. It was getting warm out here. Maybe, once you finish your PhD, you'll have time, huh? That'd be pretty cool. It's a bored gods thing. If they're bored and playing games with mortals, they're depending on which one you're talking. Then depending on which one you're talking, they might break the rules or bend them or actually play by them. Hmm. Well, and as I said in the video several times, I don't believe in the devil. So, and obviously, I'm just gonna say this one more time, just so it's out there, just one more time. Little drop in the bucket that, like, witches don't worship the devil because witches don't believe in the devil. But the devil technically isn't a god. True. I think it's just she was like invoking that as a sort of a trope. I think I grew up playing piano in musical theater. Ooh, that's nice. That is epic. Nice. He's a trickster god archetype in this kind of story. Right. It's a trope. It's an archetype. It's a right. We're talking storytelling symbolism here, not, you know, whether or not he's a god is irrelevant because I don't think he exists. So, you know, not to say that there's no such thing as an evil force. But like, what is evil? What is evil? Well, I said this before too. I think as living beings, we have this bias towards constructive forces, you know, that help us grow and survive and thrive and all that shit. We think that's good. And to us, you know, things that are destructive are evil. I've never seen the contradiction of this anywhere. Are there destructive forces in the world? Hell yeah, there are. I know, I'm just saying. Playing devil's advocate, but I'm golf clap, golf clap. Very good. Sounds more like a modern Loki. I wonder if those two archetypes might be related. Yeah. Hindu mythology, Kali and Shiva are destroyers who create. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Like the destruction, like I say, the bias, I'm not going to say that, okay. Is that a contradiction of that? I'm not sure it is. Hmm. I might have to noodle that one for a while. But like, obviously the humans fear the destruction, right? They see that as like her bad side, you know. The acknowledgement that the two are connected is a big deal because obviously destruction is necessary. You can't just and this brings me back to economics for some reason. You can't just create and create and create endlessly without running out of everything. He's a trope in that story the same way first wave feminists used him as a sort of mascot. Right, since Lucifer is known as the rebel. Yeah, right. And that iconography of Satan as the devil as, the rebellious one specifically has been very popular for a long time now. And that was something that really amused me. The idea that linking that with feminism is supposed to discredit it. Really? Really? Even though that Christian lady totally missed that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think she. I think she saw it in a totally different way. You know what I mean? Just for you, I won't skip the ads. Aw, thank you. Do I not get paid for them if you skip them? I actually don't know that. I was and still am a smoker, so I developed so many vocal nodule Alzheimer's. Raspy as Courtney Love with just with me speaking. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to quit smoking. Me too. That's what I was saying. And it's getting to the point where the more I think on it, like it's starting to wear, in my mind that, you know, Edward Bernays, right? Fuck Edward Bernays. And I think of him every time I look at this. So, I think I'm going to keep on smoking these as long as I do because it does. It reminds me of why the fuck they're a symbol of everything I hate, that I allowed to worm its way into my life before I knew what it was. There's a whole game series where a goddess trying to destroy God the Father as the central conflict has becoming Satan as the goal of the latest game. So what? She defeats one of them and then the other? That's funny. I think of Mad Men when I think of Lucky Strikes. Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, they borrowed a lot of their plot points from real things that happened, didn't they? I don't know if they borrowed that one specific, but yeah. Apparently, "They're Toasted" is actually one of their old slogans, so that's fun. That's why Nietzsche declared himself the Antichrist, and it wasn't because he was religious. No, yeah, like okay, anybody who actually worships Satan is an angry Christian because Christians are the only people who actually believe in Satan. I can't believe how often they forget that. Lucky Strike was a big account that was such an ongoing drama. That was like first season though, right? Like back when it was all still new and fresh for us. Lol, I knew I spelled it wrong. Well, I heard it was their original slogan, but it wasn't specifically invented to give them an edge on the competition. I have no idea. The theme of Persona 5 was rebellion, and all the major character arcs were characters learning the necessity of rebelling against authority. Like, question authority would be my thing. And that's what I said in the video because she draws the false equivalency of, I know you don't like to hear about submission, but you have to get over the idea that men being in charge is automatically bad. It's like, girlfriend, nobody fucking said that here. Nobody said that here. I do not say that. Just because I don't want to submit doesn't mean I don't think no man should ever be in charge of anything. That's absurd. At the very least, he ought to be in charge of his damn self. So yeah, it's very much that thing. The idea of that figure symbolizing rebellion and now you're demonized for doing that. Yeah. No, yeah, it is. It's symbolic. I don't know that a lot of those women, even in the 19th century, actually believed in the devil. Right? I feel like a lot of that medieval theology had already come into question by then. I don't think that woman should be in charge of anything since responsibility is so scary and she thinks she's so dumb and incompetent, which is bizarre. That's not how she really feels. She wrote a book based on the stuff she learned through her experiences of being a parent and a wife and all that stuff. That's what her book is about. I No, and that's why she's a hypocrite, okay? Because she found something that's worked for her. And I'm happy for her. And for some reason she thinks that means it will work for everyone. And needs to prove that by discrediting feminism. I thought you had a happy life. Why don't you go the fuck home? I don't know. If you don't like feminism, don't practice it. That's fine. Stop practicing it. Like, really, she is. By being educated and writing a book and appearing on podcasts and making her own money, presumably. I think she probably feels insecurity about her own incompetence. Yeah, internalized misogyny much? I don't think it's hypocrisy. I think it's her leaking her drama all over everyone. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. Men love being in charge of everything with their own behavior. Right? Yeah. Which is so backwards. It's so backwards. That's the only thing you can actually control. The verb Paul used to talk about is literally the same verb used in other texts to refer to taking people captive as slaves. Nice. I think I missed something you said. Okay, I hate the people who try to pretend like biblical submission is different from slavery. Nice. Nice. Well, it has to be, right? Because she's just making the argument to question feminism. That's all she's trying to do. She's just asking questions, man. I think she absolutely feels insecurity about her own incompetence. I don't think it's right. Yeah. A lot of women who pretend to be anti-feminists are actually using feminism to their advantage. You're right. No. And like, she's sitting there using Wi-Fi. The technological foundation of which, if I'm not mistaken, was literally invented by a woman. She could not literally do the specific thing she was doing when she said that without feminism. It's so absurd. If she had a happy life, she wouldn't be doing what she's doing. Right. Yeah. By, trying to convince everyone else that they need to live as you do. Just like I said earlier, it reeks. I said this in the premiere, I think. It reeks. I've said it a million times. It reeks of insecurity. Why in the hell do you need everybody to agree with you in order to just get on with your life? Anyone heard of that Jess Pearly thing? She's a riot. No, this was her, like, mentor, essentially. This lady mentioned Pearl there at the end. It was just a little mention. I left that bit in. I don't know if you caught it, but yeah. If feminism is for us, if it's for my daughters, if it's for Pearl, like, yeah, no, she's literally very well personally acquainted and, like, helped train up Pearl Davis, apparently. There are lots of women who are happy raising kids, and they are both happy and spending time raising their kids, which is great. I am sometimes one of them. That is fine. But it's the rest of her behavior that makes me question that for her. Can't submit to men. I've already submitted to the devil, and he won't allow me to do Taxi Maxi. Yeah, he's persnickety like that. Pearl is quite the germ. Oh, yeah. She's so ridiculous. She's hilarious. She's making the central argument of BDSM. Yeah. Somebody else mentioned that. The FetLife people trying to sell their lifestyle. Yeah. And during the premiere, somebody else mentioned that. Sometimes you need a big, strong daddy to tell you what to do, girl. Keep that between you and your husband. Right? Right. Yeah, no. She's so insecure about it, she has to justify this shit by invoking God. Why can't you just get on with it if you're so damn happy? The look on that woman's face, that pinched, angry little face, will make me disregard any claims you make of experiencing happiness. Part of it is that hairstyle is not the most flattering. I put a picture of her in the thumbnail for Monday that had her actual, you could see her hair. It was much more flattering, I thought. Her face didn't even light up when she mentioned becoming a mother. Aw. I admit I wasn't watching for that. I was mostly listening and making notes, but oh, that's sad. My brain rejects Pearl being a serious person and look at it as some sort of satirical figure. Gotta cope somehow. Yeah. Uh, I don't know. I think the thing that makes me the most sad about that is that this is from the hour and a half of this interview that I cut out because it wasn't in any way directly related. But apparently, Pearl Davis is 6 feet tall and used to be a volleyball player, and now she's like ashamed of that. What? 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 Like you can be an accomplished athlete and still be a good. What? That all they've done is instill in this woman more. I don't think she is serious. She just wants to get married and is pretending she's marriage material. Dress for the job you want, right? Pearl can never be any of the things she promotes. Why not? 6 foot tall. Wow. Yeah, this is Rachel's words, and Rachel knows her. So, I mean, she doesn't. I mean, she does everything she says is bad. Disagrees with men, speaks freely, votes, isn't a virgin. It's sad. Oh, I mean, I guess. And that's why people think she's a grifter. And Kelly, she looks like a Kelly to me. Am I crazy? Rachel had a response to that, too, which is that, she's turned over a new leaf. And like, okay, fair enough. Gotta go, but keep it real. See you later, kitty cat. Might not see y'all until next week because I'm camping for my birthday. Oh, happy birthday. Have fun. That sounds fun. Bring the bug spray. Patriarchal expectations of women's appearance include being physically small, something a 6 foot tall woman can't be. Right. The idea of what a woman needs to be, of being whatever men want in their porny, woman hating imagination is never going to leave most women. Yeah. It's going to leave most women way out. True. And she will find that out, unfortunately. But this just goes to more what I'm saying is that Rachel Wilson, among others, I'm sure, has just nurtured the self-hatred and the shame in Pearl for who she is. Tall, athletic, outspoken, da da da. There's no fucking reason. How insulting is this to men that they all want the same thing? That's not been my experience. Men don't all want the same thing. It's closer to there's a lid for every pot, yo. There is some man out there who is gonna adore the fuck out of her. Just the way she is. I don't see why she needs to change at all. I don't see any problem with the way that she was and is. I don't. This idea of what a woman needs to be, being whatever, right? Yeah. There's a lot of money in the whole manosphere grift. Yeah, many people are lost and are clamoring for some sort of direction, but men are always eager to blame women for all the problems of the world. Right? Yeah. No, she's clearly looking for a direction, and she found one, and it's making her, ashamed of herself. It's not good for her, dare I say. I don't think she's a grifter. I think she's a miserable little thing, right? Yeah, I think she let men and what they say get in her head. Yeah. Through the mouth of Rachel Wilson. Which is gross. She found a way of monetizing the rejection by men made her feel insecure. Oh. Pearl's not going to find a man who loves her until she stops her blatant self-loathing. Yeah. Men who like outspoken women tend not to like insecurity. Yeah. Agreed. She needs to work through all that shame. And oh my gosh, she's just digging herself deeper hanging out with those people. It's very sad. Remember, pearls are created by being a fucking irritating thing to what surrounds it. Hashtag oyster. True, true, true. I do find it weird, those types who are super into ideologues that put people like them down. Yeah. How is that not self-loathing? Informing those actions. I watched some girl do a documentary on Het that showed her trying to get her sister into Red Pill. Her sister told her she's incredibly single. And happy about it, one presumes. Usually it seems like a whole thing of, at least to acknowledge I'm a degenerate, not like those delusional freaks. Maybe it's in-group, out-group thing, you know? Maybe, you see or feel the deficits in yourself, so you latch on to the group that you think will counterbalance you and pull you closer to what you want to be. I think maybe it's part of what it is. And if what kind of man you're looking for is a traditional hypermasculine man, then the whole vibe over there entails female submission and hyperfemininity. Yeah. But I would definitely like to ask why exactly it is that a 6 foot tall athletic redhead who likes to speak her mind is looking for a man like that. Her the nature of who she is and that desire would seem to contradict one another. That's like if I wanted to be a volleyball player. I'm 5'4" and not athletic. Okay. I could not be a volleyball player. No matter how hard I tried, no matter how hard I practiced, I was never, ever, ever going to be a great volleyball player. We all have limitations in life. She's trying to link up with the kind of man who won't want her, which is why she's failing. Right. Yeah, I kind of feel bad for her. Yeah. Maybe it's a counterbalancing thing. That's a good point. Right. And I've noticed that about music too. And this is something you've seen in comedy, but it's just true. Like some of the skinniest, whitest, nerdiest dudes are some of the biggest fans of like the blackest, darkest, ghettoest, violentest hip hop, right? Why do you think that is? It makes them feel big and strong to listen to it. Right? Are you suggesting she's a shrew looking for a tamer? Maybe. But if that's the case, I think that reflects internalized misogyny. I think that reflects some unconscious self-hatred, self-loathing, and shame, because you don't need some man to fix you. I think she's looking for a man like that because a lot of culture uplifts them as the ultimate kind of man. Well, and also there's this idea that in that subculture, you as a woman will sort of be put on a pedestal, you know? In a shallow way, I guess that sounds nice if you're just, trying to find a good position for yourself. She's looking for a behavior that will get her male attention, but if she was herself, it would be more likely. Yeah. And then she would attract the kind of men who actually would like her. They're not going to try and change her. If Pearl redirected her attention to a different kind of bro, she'd find a dumb gym guy dying for a gym bunny, Valkyrie, to go to the gym with. Yeah, right. Right. Be yourself, and, you will attract the people who will appreciate you. Wow. It's not rocket science, but it is counterintuitive when you're young. I do know that. I do remember that. Pearl shouldn't be looking for a godly traditionalist. She should be looking for an MMA fighter. Ha! You remember that scene in Office Space where Michael is playing hardcore gangster rap but turns it down and locks his car? Yeah. Yeah. Because he doesn't really feel big and strong. And they play that kind of thing for comedy a lot. But that is funny because it's true. We've all known a guy like that. Right? There is an attitude within the manosphere that they don't actually want submissive women, that they want an outspoken woman that can break and form into the woman they want, which is fucking sadistic. That's sadistic. If your goal is to break someone, I don't care how the fuck you characterize it. No. No, no, no. Bad doggy. No, no biscuit. Oh my god. Maybe this is cynical, but the elevated, honored position women supposedly enjoy in trad circles always seem to me like a gilded cage. No, yeah, absolutely. But, if you're trying to find a comfortable position for yourself, it can be a convincing line. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, those women are so stupid. No. No. They make a pretty convincing sell, especially if you believe one or two things. Okay? Especially if you hold some of these religious beliefs, it can be very easy to sell you on some of this stuff. I've heard of that, yeah. Actually, Graham. Oh, yeah. I have heard of that too. The tearing them down, and that's why I'm just gonna come straight out and say it. And somebody said something about this, Mecca. You were the one who made the point about the crossover to BDSM. Well, there you go. There you go. Okay, I'm talking about. I didn't mean to correct somebody's spelling earlier, but talking about reining in women's sexuality. That's REIN. Like the reins on a horse. Women are not horses. And I'm not going to take to a fucking bridle. That's what being broken means. Okay? These are all old metaphors that are just metaphors now. I feel like most people are not actually familiar with what this shit is. Horses and reins and bits and shit. And nobody does that shit anymore. My aunt does. So, these are horse metaphors. Women are not fucking horses. If you lack imagination about other ways a person can find happiness, a gilded cage is obviously better than being chained to a wall in the dungeon. Yeah. Yeah. If those are the choices you think you have, yeah. If you've accepted the idea you deserve a cage, the obvious goal is to find the best cage to live in. Ooh, yeah, there it is. Yeah. And that's why that behavior just speaks to the self-loathing. Yeah. Well put, yes. Mm-hmm. Pretty much all the stuff they believe is super dark. My work environment is almost completely men, so I hear about all this stuff through them. Ooh. Pretty much just all the stuff men believe is super dark, or Christians? Or the red pill stuff? Yeah. Must be the red pill stuff. That's what y'all were talking about. Yeah. That shit is really dark. And that's one of the reasons, like, I am gonna do more stuff making fun of them. The manosphere stuff, yeah. I'm gonna do more stuff making fun of them, because goddamn do those people need their hubris punctured. Am I right? They take themselves so damn seriously. And when you can, relax and step back from the fact that it's a man yelling nonsense at you and focus on the nonsense, right? It can all of a sudden become kind of funny. And I don't know. I consider it to be like almost a public service to take some of to pull those guys down a peg or two, because what a bunch of losers. Rationalizing their loseriness. Ugh. It honestly seems like a lot of responsibility these men can't handle. Oh, yeah. Then, they complain about it. Oh, men are so put upon having to be providers. They don't like it, And it's like, okay, why don't you guys change? How about we change, And then the minute we go, all right, well, let's change that then. They go, whoa. I don't know. I don't want to lose my man card. They're so insecure. Masculinity is so insecure. The red pill dudes really hate women, I think. Serious, not a joke. A lot of them just need boyfriends. If no woman is ever good enough, maybe the problem is women for you. You don't like women. And they don't want to admit it to themselves that they're gay. I know I'm laughing, but I love it. I love it. That's great. Oh my God, literally that. I dated a closet case and was so hypercritical. And he was so hypercritical about my appearance all the time and super controlling and easily displeased. That's funny. I became a Catholic wife in a massive overcorrection for my wild teen years, which in retrospect were apparently driven by emotional neglect. Aw. So you went way back the other way looking for support? Yep. These things happen. I'm so sorry to hear that. It's disappointing how easily many men fall into the red pill shit. Like, they can recognize there are a bunch of bad shit going on in the world, but blame it all the time. The same old target of women. Yeah. Ugh. It's like complaining immigrants for the job market. Yeah, right, because they're in charge of that shit. They'll complain about men being lonely, then refuse to emotionally share with anyone except their girlfriends. Yeah. Ugh. I should have realized I'd driven down the wrong road when he asked me one day if I'd ever noticed my breasts weren't exactly symmetrical. No, I hadn't, and neither had anyone else that has ever seen them, bro. That's not the interesting bit for most dudes. Yeah. I have had straight men, not to brag, but more than one, proudly proclaim that they don't give a fuck about that. They don't give a fuck. They have breasts in their face. They're happy, right? Yeah. That's actually really interesting. Um, and that's why they're working so hard at the whole dating game, right? And devoting like all of their energy, like a ridiculous amount of energy to obsessing over dating because it keeps them from questioning whether or not they really want to. Oh man. Sounds like he wanted to keep your self confidence down so you'd stay with him. Ooh, I mean, I guess. They love to throw out the 41% thing, but neglect to mention that the percentage includes murder suicides. Men aren't the only ones lonely, they're just the loudest and most dangerous about it. Yeah. I'll agree with that last part for sure. You know what feels like a chore? Doing the things necessary to date a person you're not into like that. Ask me about it. Part of how I figured out I'm asexual. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. While most aren't. The dominant hand arm builds more muscle under one side. uh, most of them aren't dangerous about their loneliness. Is that what you're saying? It's almost 2 o'clock and it's starting to get hot out here. So both of those things would indicate it's almost time for me to go. This has been so much fun. Thank you guys so much. These just keep getting better and better. And like I was saying, I'm gonna miss doing these more often. We'll still do this. We'll do the 2 hour Wednesday. We'll just go back to what we were doing. So the regular Wednesday video and then the 2 hour lives on Wednesdays. Yeah, you have a good day too, Big Lands. And but that's next week. Friday, I have no idea what the video is going to be next week. But Friday we have Saul Grover and her verdict out of Australia. And how incredibly depressing that is. Poor thing. Have fun. It's nice to have a social outlet while I stay home with the baby. Oh, right on, right on. Glad to provide. That's awesome. Sending me back to the thesis editing minds. Like, the Saul Grover thing is such a mess. Yeah. Yeah. So I get to spend the next couple days looking into that. Wish me luck. Yes. And happy editing. Happy bibliographying. Whatever it is. Yeah, I'm pissed about that verdict. Right. Yeah. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to offer any, mind blowing analysis, but we'll go over it, the facts and details and all that stuff. Hi, bye. Did you just get back? I didn't know you were gone. I figured. Oh, I thought you were here, just listening. I'm sorry. It's 2 o'clock. I gotta go. It's not quite 2 o'clock yet, but I need to go here in a minute because well, it's 2 o'clock. It's getting hot out here, and that's my time for. I mean, I have to manage my time because I have to eat something before I have to go get little man. Read the court notes are infuriating. Reading the court notes are infuriating. Wow. Whoa. What the heck? I haven't read those. Right, but I may take a look at them. I don't know. Oh, I'm so ready for fall. Some of my trees are already turning, but it's 90 degrees. Some of your trees are already turning? That's wild. Everything is still green here. But yeah, autumn's gonna be nice. Autumn's gonna be nice. Like, to wear sleeves. Mm, excuse me. Yeah, so that's Friday, and then next week, the trees turn based off of daylight. Yes, not temperature. Yes. So you can have a super warm fall and the leaves all still fall. Wild stuff. Um, okay, I thought I was crazy. No. Storm season is already on its way here. Oh, yeah. Hurricane season. Ooh, yeah, good luck. One of the nice things about being up here in the mountains. How colorful they are and how long they stick around on the tree has to do with how much rain, I've been told. Interesting. We just have tornadoes. We don't really get those here either. There's been one since I've lived here, and everybody lost their fucking minds. But yeah, I'm from Indiana. Mostly just typhoons. Wow. Wait, where are you? We get a lot of warnings, but we rarely get a tornado. Yeah. In Bloomington, yeah. It's hilly down there. I think they change based off of hours of light. Yeah. Yeah. And the angle, probably. It's like they sense the winter is coming. Like marijuana flowering. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting comparison there, yeah. Mm. But yeah, typhoons are like hurricanes in the eastern hemisphere, right? Where are you, Claire? My goodness. I probably asked this before. I'm so terrible about that. I'm sorry. Legal here. Right on. Right on. Right on. Lucky. I'm surprised because we're a red state, but it's a winning issue. Yeah. Yeah. That's not, in my experience, a party issue for sure. No. And the Republicans need to get with the program, in my opinion. Except that hopefully they're going to be in disarray after this election anyway, so. Because if Trump loses, they're going to have to pick a new figurehead, and that's going to be, take up a lot of their time for a while, I think. Well, Kamala should run on legalizing it before Trump does. Yeah. Mm. That's a solid point. Um, like I say, I don't even know that that's on Republicans' radar right now. They're too worried about reining in women's sexuality. I mean, good lord. Oh, that'd be funny right now. There's a possibility that there are people who live in states where you have legal marijuana and not abortion. In the far west on an island. Yeah, right. Okay. That's awesome. uh, well, thank you for reminding me. Um, and now I have to go. Ooh, there's a pretty brown butterfly just landed right here. I would turn it to show you, but maybe scare away. That's where I live. It's supposed to be on the ballot in November. Oh my god. That's crazy, Kelly. I'm so sorry. You have a lovely day too, Joe. Summer has been quite hot here, but there has been some pretty nasty rainy days periodically over the past week, so it might be a really wet fall. Oh my goodness. Well, good luck. I hope that it doesn't, get too bad for you guys. Despite locking up weed users, she partakes as well. Who, Kamala? Yeah. Wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it. Mm-mm. Feel sorry for the women who need it. Unlucky. Yeah. Right. Having the choice to have a baby makes it so much more joyful, doesn't it? That was my experience anyway. Break that off. Ugh. This is the first I've heard of that. I don't doubt it. It's fun times. Fun times. I look forward to bitching about her for 4 years during her administration. Right. I look forward to, critiquing the performance of the first woman president because it's a hell of a lot better than fighting with Donald Trump. I'm not even a fan of selective abortion, but it's not really my business. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. To each her own. Oh my goodness. And on that note, I'm going to leave you guys because I got to go eat something. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys on Friday. Bye, guys.